casual, you get your tie loosened, you know.
There you go. How many do you expect today?
You know, it reminds me of a church event, anywhere from 2 to 100. So
It plays from 2 to 100.
yeah, you never know. We have about 60 registered, plus we'll stream this live on Facebook. So you'll get, most of your views will be later. Your views will get about, my videos tend to get about anywhere from 800 to almost 2,000 views depending. So later on, so that happens from like from now to a week from now, you'll be in the hundreds of views for sure.
Good. How many do you have in your company?
We have 80 agents. Our dues were due the end of July, so we dropped down to 80. We were at 87, now we're at 80.
Okay, sounds good. So are you going to share some of the points with me as we
Yep. I have Lori. Lori trained me well. So
good.
Lori's on top of it. So I always say the genius of a leader is that one person they hire, you know.
Always the case. So whenever you're ready, we'll begin.
Okay. Yeah, we're right on the nose. So anyway, first let me introduce you to everybody. Actually, what I wanted to do, I have to hit the record button. I apologize. For some reason, Debbie is not here, and I'm not sure. I was texting her and sending her instant messages. I hope she's okay. But Debbie is my admin, and she.
I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
But I'm. You need to, if you signed on as the co-host or as the host, you need to make me the co-host, so I can.
Okay. How do I? Where are you? So how do I do that, Debbie? You're a panelist, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're the co-host. It says you're the co-host. Oh, it says make host. Okay, now you're the host. Yep.
Great. Now I can put it on Facebook.
All right. So now for some reason I was like panicking, and so now that Debbie's here, everything will go smooth, Mike. She's that person we were talking about. So
there you go.
Yeah. So let me know when we're recording, Deb, and then we'll go. I apologize, Mike.
That was my fault.
No, I take responsibility. So it's recording now, right?
Right. And
yep, and it's now streaming on Facebook. Perfect. So first, let me introduce our guest today. This is Mike Ferry. If you've been in real estate at any length of time and you don't know the name Mike Ferry, welcome to Earth. You know, it's good to have you here. Mike Ferry organization has been around for 45 years, training. I probably have created more millionaire real estate agents than any organization that I'm aware of. Mike is not only a coach, but he's an author, an international speaker, and you know, among others. If I miss anything, well, he's also a grandfather, father, you know, husband, that kind of stuff. So if I missed anything, let me know, Mike. But it is my great honor and pleasure to bring to you today Mike Ferry and the 14 things to end the year awesome. So I don't know, that's not the exact title, but that's how we're going to do it. So anyway, welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much, Rob. It's nice to be with you guys. First thing I want to mention to all of your viewers is that I have never finished a seminar that I've started yet, and I've done 7,000 seminars in my career. So I'm going to give everybody in a little bit my email address, and they can get a copy of all my notes, which we will send to them if they send me an email. So I will never, the odds of me finishing all these points are slim, but at the same time, I want to make sure they have access to them.
Okay.
I want to share with the group is that a lot of people are very concerned about the market today as to what's going on. And I have to take, from my perspective, this is almost a perfect real estate market. And it's almost perfect because the inventory shortage is actually working to our favor. most people, as you know, Rob, because of our experience, panic when inventory gets low. And there's no reason to panic, because for the first time in a long time, sellers are getting the prices that they want, which is building a relationship between a seller and an agent that is stronger than it's been in the past. I mean, if you want to make sure that you have a seller give you referrals in your database for a long period of time, get them the price they want. And in today's market, with the shortage of inventory, not only are they getting the price they want, they're getting multiple offers, and it's happening real quickly. But the second reason why the market is so perfect today is the abundance of buyers. And you know what's interesting? I've come to the conclusion that a lot of couples sitting in their home during this pandemic over the last 4 months, you know, after talking to each other 8 hours a day and getting bored with each other's conversations, which is normal, and after talking to the dog for hours on end and talking to the wall, conversations turn to maybe we need a bigger house, maybe we need a smaller house, maybe we should have a condominium, maybe we should move out to the countryside away from the city. This pandemic has actually created an enormous number of buyers in the market, which is what is keeping the prices so strong with the inventory shortage. And then we have low interest rates to cap it off. So I want to share with all of your listeners today that if they're not succeeding in this market, and I don't want them to get mad, it's their own fault, okay? And it's a mindset issue that we'll discuss in a little bit. The challenge, and Rob, you and I know this for a fact, that the agents face today is that there's this abundance of buyers and they want to show property to buyers. When the money in real estate today, the money in real estate is listing property, period, okay?
Right.
In the past, you know, you and I would say to an agent, if you want to check quickly in real estate, find a motivated, qualified, pre-approved buyer, show them a home, sell them a house. Today, if you want to get paid fast, you take a listing, because first of all, it's going to sell as long as it's reasonably well priced. So, you know, the flavor in real estate has always been that buyers are much easier to work with. And generally, they're pretty easy to work with. But in this market today,
not in this market. Yeah, no,
it's working
brutal
with a buyer. It's tough, because even if you and I get that buyer to a house quickly, there's going to be multiple offers. We're hearing stories today, 5, 10, 15 offers on a listing that is priced right. So
our market is the same as that.
Oh yeah.
That's so, yeah. And the other thing with being a listing agent, you have more control over your commission, where if you're the buyer's agent, you have to accept pretty much, I mean, you don't have to, there's ways around it, but you're pretty much working for whatever the listing agent is giving you. So
yeah. And let's face it, today the listing agents control the business almost 100% versus, so I'm going to spend my time today trying to help them understand that even though listing property is more challenging because the competition is stronger, there's no reason why every agent that you and I know that we work with cannot develop the skill set and become a strong listing agent. And of course, that really means that there's a lot of money at play for those that choose to list property. With that thought, I thought, just so you know, all the viewers, I've asked Rob to participate with me.
Yep.
So let's take point number 3 and go through that with him.
Okay, so point number 3, it says, because of the inventory shortage and low interest rates, the market should remain strong through the end of 2020 and the first quarter of 2021. And so worst case scenario, we will have 4 million sales this year. So that's really 8 million commission checks that will be distributed. So the question is, how many do you want from now to the end of December?
Well, and you know what's interesting about that? I've had a couple of brokers, Rob, say to me, why do you bring this point up? I want the agents to understand the size of the market that is available. Because, you know, we all work in our own communities, our own towns, you know, our own little neighborhoods, and we forget about how big this industry really is, selling real estate.
Right.
I mean, there's probably going to be 4.5 million sales this year. That's 9 million commission checks will be distributed.
Right.
So what I ask all of your agents to do, excuse me, is take a business card and on the back, write the number of transactions they want to close from now to the end of the year. And just write that number on the back of the card and look at it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times a day, because, you know, you and I know that you become what you think about. And if if they will focus on that number is very attainable through listing sold if they will give it the time to settle in their minds. Now, the problem, of course, most of the agents would prefer the buyers because, I mean, how much skill do we need in today's market to get a buyer to buy a house? Watch.
Well, the fine one to buy is easy, but getting them under contract and close, that's actually more of a skill today.
Well, right. Well, in getting a contract accepted is the hard part,
Right.
because
That's the skill. Excuse me. Yeah.
the strongest skills we have to deal with today are the skills of the listing agent. Because, see, and I think most of your agents understand that a buyer is going to buy a house if they like the house, if they like the neighborhood, if they like the
Sure.
price, if they're going to buy it. And,
Right.
and the skill at that point is minimal. However, the skill to get the listing is a whole different program, because, and as
Right.
you and I know, if they're not willing to prospect, if they're not willing to do strong lead follow-up, if they're not willing to pre-qualify, if they're not willing to make a strong presentation, handle objections, somebody else is going to get that listing. You'll get a kick out of this. We have a home in Newport Beach, California, which we've had for several years. Our residence is Las Vegas. And we decided we're going to sell this home in Newport and we're going to buy another property here. So I called 2 agents, and the first agent shows up a couple days ago, sharp, well-dressed, nice-looking man. He opens the door and he goes, "Oh my God, you are Mike Ferry." I said, "I was when I woke up this morning, that's for sure." Yeah. So he was a little intimidated, and I tried to get him to settle down. And he made a good presentation, but then he made a fatal error. As he was ready to leave, because I told him that I had to present the contract to my wife, who's in Canada with her dad. I said, "Here's what I want you to do. Follow up, let me know what you want to do, and we'll get this taken care of." He said to me as he left, "Well, why don't you call me when you're ready?" Now, that is not exactly a good system for lead follow-up, telling the client to call you. Well, the second showed up an hour later, made his presentation, same style, nice looking, well presented, good information for me. I said to him, I'm going to have to let you know tomorrow. The next morning by 8 o'clock, I had 3 texts from that guy saying, "What time can I pick up the contract?" Well, guess who's getting the listing? Okay. So
yeah, I've been through your scripts, Mike, and I don't ever remember seeing that one. Let me know what's good for you. I don't,
That's not part of the scripts at all.
No.
So what I want to say to your agents is that they've got to get into their head that the skill set is what makes it work. You're in Salt Lake City, correct?
Correct.
All right. So
Yep.
you guys have the Utah Jazz, a long-time great professional basketball team. Those guys are the absolute best at what they do when it comes to skills. And
Right.
what makes a professional is skills. So what I think we have to think about is that decision, buyers versus sellers. And if we go with the sellers, now we have to spend the time learning how to prospect, learning how to do lead follow-up, etc. So I'm going to share something that, Rob, you'll get a kick out of. I've made a little change about a month ago in some of my beliefs on dealing in the market because of the pandemic. And the change I made was, you've heard me talk for years about the fact that it's critically important that an agent play the numbers game, that they talk to as many people as they can talk to get the leads to make the deal work. So today, I'm going to suggest to your agents that, quantity is always important, but today, quality is more important. And by quality, I mean, if we look at the public today, and we deal with the public all the time in real estate, they're a little bit stressed. This pandemic has been extended several times, much longer than we ever thought it would last. When the
14 days.
Well, when the president on March 15th, let's close for 30 days, we didn't know 4 months.
Right.
Okay. So this whole thing has created a lot of stress. It's created a lot of concern. There's a lot of misinformation about real estate in the market. This is a chance for people to prospect and deliver good quality information to the public, whether it be their past clients, centers of influence, just listed, just sold. See, they can come in because people are at home and they're still out searching the way they have in the past. So you're going to love this. I got a quote. Most people don't know that Earl Nightingale, the famous motivational speaker, was a master salesperson before he got into the motivational field. I have his original record, The Strangest Secret, framed in my office in Las Vegas. He retired at age 35, financially independent from selling life insurance when he got into the motivational field. So 1968, I'm sitting in Chicago with Earl Nightingale, and he gave me a quote, which I pulled out at this time to share with all of our clients and friends during this series of webinars. Listen to the quote, Rob. The quality of your prospecting contacts determines the quality of the leads you get, which determines the quality of the appointments you go on, which determines the quality of the listings you take. He said the word quality 4 times in one sentence. So what I want to talk to your agents about is, first of all, they got to talk to 20 people a day. If they're gonna take listings and be successful, they got to talk to 20 people a day. But let's take market stats, market information, neighborhood reports. Let's talk about the low interest rates, the inventory shortage. Let's have good quality conversations with the people we talk to. And if we have those conversations, the level of trust the prospect will have with your agent will build, and then we're going to get the deals we want to get. It's a whole different perspective having quality and quantity, because quality makes all the difference in the world. And I hope that the agents understand that. Now, with that being said, because you're doing this and it's going to be replayed and showed on Facebook Live, etc., I'm going to quickly give everybody my email address. If they have a question, they're welcome to email it to me, and I'll answer it usually within a couple hours. My email address is mike.ferry, very simple, at mikeferry.com.
Okay.
Mike.ferry@mikeferry.com. Because if you and I talk, there are going to be some questions that come up, and often they're a little embarrassed and put them in the chat box. And if they put them in the chat box, we'll answer them, of course. But my goal, Rob, is to get all of your agents to take a minimum of 3 to 4 listings per month between now and the end of the year. And it's very doable.
For me.
Yeah, that works for you is right. And the reason it's doable is because the competition is all tied up working with buyers. So maybe 10% of the agents are actually focused on listing property today. So if we take 100%, 35% are still at home, hiding under the covers, under the bed, in the closet, have never re-engaged in real estate. Of the 65%, 10% are listing 90% of the homes for sale. We want your agents to be part of that group of people. And if they're going to do it, they have to have a plan. So I've written a little 30-day plan, which I'm going to let Rob share with you right now, please, if you would.
So the statement here is, it says to take 4 listings per month or more, right? Set a 30-day plan for each month, right? For the remainder of this year and really for life, but keep the plan simple and include the following, right? Number 1, how many hours per day are you are going to prospect? Number 2, number of contacts you'll make. Number 3, leads generated. Number 4, appointments set. And number 5, listings taken. So those are the, that's the focus right there. I mean, that's it. Why should we focus on anything else?
It's interesting. My broker, Pat McVeigh, who is my mentor and my friend and a great broker when I was in real estate, we're sitting at breakfast one morning, Rob. It was probably 1970. And we're sitting at breakfast talking, and Pat pulls out a 3x5 card. And he goes, all right, Mike, I want you to take your pen and write your name on the top of the card, which I did. And he goes, now I'm going to ask you 5 questions. I want you to answer them on this card, A, B, C, D, E. So I'm going to ask all of the agents that are, participating today to do the same. And of course, Pat said, okay, first question, how many hours are you going to prospect per day for the next month? Because, we work about 21, 22 days in an average month. I said, well, Pat, I'm a sick person. I admit that. I love to prospect. I mean, I've built my career prospecting. I still prospect 2 hours a day now, running my company the way I do. So I'm going to prospect 4 hours a day. He goes, write it down. He said, how many contacts can you make a day? Well, you know, in the early 70s, you really didn't use the phone much because we had rotary phones and it took all day to call 10 people. So we knocked on doors every day. So I knocked on doors and I would talk to 40 to 50 people a day. He said, write it down. He said, can you generate at least one lead every day? I said, absolutely. So I wrote down one lead a day. How many appointments can you set? I said, I'm going to go on one listing appointment a day, 5 days a week. Write it down. And how many listings will you take? Well, I was a listing fanatic. Okay. I competed with some guys like Paul Callahan and Jimmy Shockley. I mean, the guys in this company I worked for were listing giants. I was never the number one agent, and I was often taking 14, 15 listings a month. So I wrote down 15. But here's what Pat did. After I wrote the plan that you just described, he said, sign your name. So I did. He said, you just made a contract with yourself. That's your job for the month of July. I said, okay, Alan. But then, Rob, you'll get a kick out of this. He handed me 5 more cards and said, duplicate your plan 5 more times. Okay, so I did. Why? He said, I want you to take one of these and tape it on the mirror.
Right.
When you're shaving, brushing your teeth, look at your plan. Give one to your wife. I said, why? He said, I want her to stand by the door in the morning and said, honey, this is your job. Go do it today. Accountability. Give one to your manager and tell your manager, remind me to follow this plan every day. Put one on your desk, put one in your pocket. Well, this was the original business plan that, of course, today we have several pages in our business plans we ask agents to put together. But the truth is, the simplicity of that is the name of the game.
Absolutely.
Because every agent can complete that if they choose to stop what they're watching right now and complete that. And again, if they have questions, send me the question and I'll write down the answer. So, Rob, you know, here's what I keep saying to myself. Because of the pandemic that we've experienced, and it's a very serious and difficult thing we've been all dealing with, the mindset that we keep is more important than ever. Because a lot of the agents have given up. A lot of I get emails every day. I can't do it. It doesn't work. I don't think I can stay in the business. And I said, well, what's your option? I mean, get a job at Walmart? Is that what you want to do? And if you do, go do that. But have a plan for what you're going to do. And if you're going to be in real estate, keep the mindset strong enough. You got to keep telling yourself that you can make this happen. And then you add the skills that you and I teach all the time. You know, you take skills and mindset, you can win. But here's the fun one. The word activities. You'll get a kick out of this. A couple of days ago, I got a phone call from a competitor of mine who's been a friend for probably 25 years. A wonderful guy. Good speaker, good trainer, good coach. But we teach totally opposite in terms of what we teach. So here was the conversation between my friend and I. Hey, Mike, you're telling him to do A, B, and C. I said, yep. I tell him to do D, E, and F. Yep. Why do you tell him to do A, B, and C? I said, because it brings results. It brings results. These activities, if they do them, will get them listings. He said, well, my activities get them listings, but my activities, they don't have to be rejected all the time. I said, that's the difference. The amount of rejection an agent receives is in direct correlation to the amount of production they do.
Right. Yeah, I always, if you can't handle I mean, you need love, get a dog. You know, it's like, if you're trying to get love from sellers, I mean, you're in the wrong, you're going about this the wrong way.
That's right. So I said to my friend, I teach people that the activities are going to lead to rejection, but if you get enough rejection, you always get told yes, which brings you a contract. But
right.
Then the hard part, what is the average commission today, Rob, in your company? What would be an average commission check to
I would say 10 to 12,000.
Okay.
You know, some 15, some 15,
Yeah.
20, some 8, 6 to 10,
You know, 10 or $12 is a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
And an agent that takes 2, 3, 4 listings a month is almost going to have a guaranteed 100% sell ratio. So
right.
we're talking about making an extraordinary amount of money. I'm embarrassed to say, when I started in real estate, okay, in 1970 as an agent, my average commission check was $285.
Right.
Rob, today you and I are not going to leave the house for $285. Okay, it's not even an option.
No,
But
I'm not even
the
getting
average,
dressed.
the average sales price in Huntington Beach, California, in 1970 was $28,500.
Right,
We were on a 50% split.
right.
So gross commission 700, 600, our commission 285. Well, the challenge today in taking action every day is the fact that the commissions we receive for the good work we do are so big that
Right.
it's hard to stay motivated, which is why the 30-day plan is so important.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this to you, and I know you and I've talked about it before. The hardest part of what Mike Ferry teaches an agent to do is to learn what to say. That's the hardest part of what we teach, because every professional knows what to say. So I'm going to let you share with them my thoughts on point number 9 regarding
Yep.
the list presentation, please.
Yeah, so number 9, listing property requires that a skilled agent uses canned and scripted presentations. And, that you can hear the collective, so, but anyway, non-productive agents fight being told what to say and learning canned presentations. A listing presentation requires showing a seller the exact process that you use. This can only be done when you know what to say and what to do. If I don't know what to say, I can't do what I'm supposed to do. So I always say the most popular script in all of real estate is, I don't use scripts. That's the most popular script there is.
I don't use scripts. That is a great, and if you don't, I'm going to borrow that line and use that and give you full credit.
You're more than welcome.
You know, the old line in real estate is, if you steal one idea, you're a thief.
Right.
If you
Steal them all.
do research. So thank you for that. But it is interesting because, again, let's take the professional basketball team in Salt Lake City. They have they have a playbook, and those players are taught to run and follow those plays every time they get the ball and go down the court. Well, pro football, high school football, college baseball, college basketball, professional golfer, everything is scripted. Everything I'm saying today is scripted 100%. And if anybody wants a copy of my notes, just send me a note to mikeferry.com. We'll send you the notes virtually within a few minutes.
I added that email, your email, and said if they have any questions, email Mike at, and I put it on Facebook.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Because, see, everything that Rob and I are doing for all of our listeners, I mean, Rob is following the script as I'm following the script. But see, what's interesting to me is an agent shows up for a listing, and there's many times a little anticipation. There's a little stress that they are feeling, and they always want to know if they're going to say the right thing and do the right thing. Well, if you don't have a script, the odds are you're not going to say the right thing and do the right thing, and that's where we get in trouble. Because, see, the confidence to present comes from the knowledge of what I want to say. I used to walk into the house, Rob, and if I was presenting to you, I would simply say, I've written down some very important questions. Would you mind if I go through them with you now? And Rob says, well, of course. And I just read my script right to the seller. I closed 92% of the sellers I presented to for 2 straight years as a listing agent. See, don't tell me it doesn't work. Tell me that you're not willing to learn the scripts. And we have validated this because we have thousands of agents all over North America that are listing 5, 10, 15, 20 homes a month, including right in this greater Salt Lake City market, as well as every market in the country.
Right.
They use scripts. But see, here's the catch. In today's world, with social media being what it is and such a big part of too many people's lives, the ability for people to judge us at a high level is probably more today than ever before.
Mhm.
When we show up at a house to list property, they judge everything. They judge what we say, they judge how we say it, they judge how we respond to their questions, they judge how we look, they judge how strong we are in our presentation. They judge everything about us, and they have a right to, because they're going to pay a lot of money for the service.
Mhm.
Well, if we have a script, we're reducing their ability to make misjudgments.
Right.
And that's what we got to help the agents understand. If they're going to judge 10 times during the course of a presentation, let's reduce that down to they only judge us once.
Right.
And that changes the whole complexion of the presentation. I think the best example, Rob, the seller says to you or I, "Can you get my home sold?" We smile and say, "Not until you sign the contract."
I love that.
And then we'll go to work.
Yep.
But the average agent, they say, "Can you get my home sold?" And the agent goes, "I'll try.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll work real hard. You're my only listing. I'll have nothing to do but help you." Well,
Right.
you're not going to get the listing. So I want to share this short little story. San Diego, California. I'm introducing Earl Nightingale at a convention. I went up to test the microphone. The room had not filled with participants yet. And on the podium were a stack of 3x5 cards. And it said, "The Strangest Secret," which was the title of Earl's talk. And there were about 10 cards that outlined the talk. So, of course, I was very young, very immature, and probably a bit stupid. But I admit where I was. So I walked up to Earl and I said, "Earl, I noticed the cards on the podium. How many times have you done this talk?" He said, "Well, probably 4,000 times. And of course, immature me, I said to Earl Nightingale, "Haven't you learned it yet?" And he smiled and put his hand on my shoulder, Rob, and he goes, "I use the cards so I don't forget." Then
Right.
he turned around and walked away. As he walked away, he looked back over his shoulder and said, "Mike, I'm going to say something to you to help you." And he said, "Write it down." And then he said to me, "Knowledge equals confidence. Ignorance equals fear." The more knowledgeable I am on what I'm expressing to a seller, the more confidence I have, and the more confidence they have in me.
Right.
But if I do display ignorance of what has to be done to get a home sold, it creates fear in me and a lot of fear in the seller.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
why
absolutely.
Yeah.
When I would prospect, if I had it's funny, if I had the script book in front of me, and I used to use the flyer stand, and, I just would say whatever happened to look at it. But as soon as it wasn't there, I was like, "Oh man, where's my book?" And I would like fumble through it. But as long as the book was sitting there, I didn't have to look at it, and I would just regurgitate everything.
Well, it's like anything else. You learn how to do things, and once you've learned it, well, it becomes part of who you are. But if you don't learn your script, your prospecting scripts, how to handle objections, you cannot respond in a positive, professional manner.
Yep.
So my belief has always been that the seller, they want a knowledgeable, confident agent to handle
Absolutely.
the sale.
Yeah.
Then they want an agent excited about the opportunity and an agent that is enthusiastic and energetic. So what we have to help all these wonderful people that are watching today understand, it takes a lot of work to be great in real estate. It doesn't take a lot of work to be good. But to make that transition from good to great, you're taking your skills to another level. And of course, that's my job and your job to help them develop that. And it's tough. We've seen each other, gosh, I don't know how many dozens of times over the years. I would guess more than
my first introduction to the Mike Ferry organization was, I always remember April 15th. I mean, that's always an easy day to remember. But the year was 1998.
Oh, okay. So it's been a long time.
Right.
And it's interesting because I always have a script. I always use I've always rehearsed it time and time again. in my office in Las Vegas, and sometime when you're in town, you'll have to come and see this, but next to my desk, I have a podium, a regular podium. And one of our staff walked in a couple of weeks ago and said, I never noticed the podium. Why do you have a podium? I said, because I often will stand up and practice what I'm going to say at the podium, just like if I'm in front of an audience. So I hope that everybody understands that. Now, I have some good news and bad news. The good news is 2 weeks ago, we were supposed to have our 40th, I guess about our 38th or 40th Superstar Retreat in Las Vegas. Didn't happen because we were not allowed to do the Superstar Retreat because of the pandemic. September, we're going to do a virtual Superstar Retreat, and I'm going to make an offer to your agents that'll be as good as it gets.
Okay.
You're going to smile when I say this. Every agent that buys a ticket, and instead of paying $300, they pay $195 because of you. So I hope they all give you applause when we're done.
Well, that's a good value. I mean, and here's what I got to say, boys and girls, look, and so how many hours is this? I mean, it's 3 days, right?
It's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 1 each day.
Right. So if you're not willing to invest $195 in yourself, it's like, really? I mean, give me a 1,500 word essay explaining that, So
it's a tough
seriously.
One. Well, they don't have to buy an airplane ticket.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have to stay at the Venetian Palazzo and have a nice room. They won't be putting $1 in a slot machine on the way to the meetings in the morning.
Plus you get 3 meals a day.
Yeah. But here's the best part. Every person that comes to our retreat this year, and right now we have, I think, 2,300 already signed up. It's in 5 weeks. We'll probably have between 5,500 and 6,000 total attendees. Every person gets a front row seat for free. Pretty good deal.
Right. And your jammy sitting on your couch, So
whatever they choose to do, we're going to make it a lot of fun. We're going to make it very interactive for them. It's going to be a unique experience. Normally, I would be in Salt Lake City with a couple hundred people from your company in the room, and I'd be presenting and asking them to buy a ticket, and they all go ahead. So today we have to say to them, go online to MikeFerry.com, enter the code MFO1.
Okay.
MFO1. And as a result of that code, they get a discount because of Rob and our association. So you're going to get a kick out of this, Rob. At the 35-minute mark each day when I do a webinar, and I do 6 to 7 of these a day, I get a notice from Lori, my assistant, who you've chatted with. And here's the note, Mike, hang up.
Wow.
And that's her sign to tell me that I have to do another one in about 10 minutes. So I'd like to first say thank you for your long-time support. Thanks for getting your agents involved. I know one thing, that you and I are always going to be trying to help them become more productive. And as long as they become more productive, everybody wins. So I hope they pay attention. If they want a copy of the notes, send me an email. I'll give them a copy of the notes. I know that you're going to broadcast this time and time again so they can watch it over and over again. And I hope all of them have a great last 4.5, 5 months of the year. And thank you for letting me be part of this whole process. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you very much, Mike. It's always a pleasure to have you. And, boys and girls, I've been listening to Mike talk for 20-something years. The message really hasn't changed. The key is he tells you it's the consistency. And that's what I teach. Consistency is everything. It's, massive success is just doing the right little thing day in and day out, day in and day out. So anyway, thank you very much.
I'll look forward to seeing you very soon. Say hello to all your salespeople, and hope to see them at the retreat. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Mike. Bye.